Now for later, which contains strong language and personal opinions.
Say it.
I'm a geek.
Yes. Say it.
I'm proud to be a geek.
Not good enough. More.
Say it.
I'm a video game junkie and I love it.
Hi, you're watching Bits. On tonight's show, we're bringing you the latest Nintendo hardware. We'll also be adventuring with Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask on the N64 and getting Gothic in Wonderland on the PC.
Finally, we lighten the mood when we review the latest dance sensation. Now, some of you might be wondering just what the hell is going on here.
Well, it's simple, really. This is the first day of our nationwide Bit Geek Watch. We're setting out to bring the gaming geeks of Britain out of the closet and onto national TV in a celebration of their geekdom.
We is putting the geek back onto the street.
It's Geek Pride! But we're giving you all the details later in the show, so stay tuned. But now it's time for Emily to screech into view in the PlayStation 2's own Ridge Racer 5. This game is the petrolhead's equivalent of Baywatch. It's shallow, it's puerile, a real beach bunny blonde of a game. It may look good, it may even feel good to some, but ultimately there is no depth. Now, it's strangely addictive. However, it's not a love affair that will last all night. No, it's more wham bam thank you ma'am with arcade racing sim Ridge Racer 5.
Where are we going?
Round the bend, please. As you'd expect of a PlayStation 2 title, it looks gorgeous. But with manufactured good looks, there's always the odd bit of fogging to dupe you into thinking it looks better than it really does. Now, in my book, starting a little further back and combining the two courses you've just completed does not a new track make. Ho-hum. The artificial intelligence of the competing cars has been considerably improved, making the trademark Ridge Racer slide round the bends that much harder. Now, it might make for instant gratification, but remember, practice to progress. The beauty of this game really lies in the pick up and play value. You can pick it up, play it, and put it down again, without the feeling that you have to complete one more level, solve one more puzzle. It's full of the instant gratification that all successful arcade games and a one-night stand provide. So there you have it. Get your driving gloves on for Ridge Racer 5 when it launches with the PlayStation on November 24th. We've received a flurry of emails from all of you jokers in response to our top 50 games of all time poll, and it looks like all of you have an opinion about what should go into the top 50 games of all time. So, if you haven't entered yet, here's what to do. Choose your favourite game and get on down to our website. It's simple.
Just remember, folks, it's one vote for one game per person.
And next week we'll be telling you what you think about smegma.
Smegma, such a great word. Right, time now for Emily and Alex to fill you in with this week's gaming news. In the first bits of the series, we dissected the futures of Sony and Sega.
Apparently they've been too busy throwing PlayStation 2 and Dreamcast punches at each other to notice the dark horse in the running, Nintendo's GameCube. The GameCube has a 405 MHz processor, 40 megs of memory, and a graphics co-processor with a 1T SRAM memory embedded directly onto the chip.
And what exactly does that mean?
To the well-rounded non-tech head, it means that the GameCube can make claim to be the most powerful console on the planet. Bar the Xbox. All others may have to cringe beneath its power and will cower behind the closest rock until the Miyamoto storm has passed. So expect totally arse-kicking gameplay. Here's a little taster of some familiar faces in demo gameplay footage. They certainly show off the GameCube's talents. We had a tete-a-tete with Nintendo's Uberman, Mr. Shigeru Miyamoto. Now, you may recognise him as the creator of Zelda, Mario and Donkey Kong, to name but a few.
Not only did he wow us with the stats, his congenial appearance, not to mention that fantastic haircut, but he also bowled us over with details of Nintendo's next gen. And here they are, just for you.
The GameCube makes our work easier. The 3D consoles we used to design games for were limited. We had to spend a lot of time simply realizing the 3D engine itself. Now with the GameCube, working in 3D is as easy as working in 2D.
And if you were perturbed by the release of the Game Boy Color or the Game Boy Pocket because you're an original black and white Game Boy geek, then get the anti-anxiety pills at the ready because the Game Boy Advance is on its way.
The Game Boy Advance, or GBA to its friends, is the equivalent of a mini PlayStation in your pocket. It's powered by the same size brain as the now old-school Sony machine, but is a mere quarter of the size, making it much smaller than the miniaturized PS1. More points are scored on the display front. The PS1 needs a TV. Next year, you'll be able to buy a snap-on LCD screen. Thanks, Sony. The GBA comes with its own built-in screen, 1.5 times as big as the one on your Game Boy.
And check this out, you can have a Menage a Quatre, that's 4-player action, on SNES quality Mario Kart if you have enough pals. And it totally works. I had my ass whooped by 3 complete strangers.
Now, the only apparent downfall of this fantastic piece of kit that we all want to get our hands on is that it won't be on the shop shelves until next July. So how come we got our dirty little mitts on one at ECTS and they're actually going to keep it all to themselves until summer 2001?
The same story happened at this year's U.S. Trade Fair show. So I chatted to Bike Maldwin, our transatlantic reporter, and this is what he had to say on the subject.
Well, Nintendo now is making lots of money on the Game Boy. Everybody's buying Game Boy. They have the Game Boy Advance, 32-bit, perfect, ready to go. They're not talking about it. They're going to hold it back until they've sold every last Game Boy.
Well, looks like we'll just have to sit tight and wait. Arse.
And for that little bit extra on Miyamoto news, here's Booth with his latest, Zelda Majora's Mask.
Right, now we know that you're gagging for anything that's new from Nintendo, so who are we to deny you the pleasure of feasting your mince pies on the latest epic to grace the Zelda series? Oh yes, it's time to get swept away with that special little bit of Miyamoto magic with Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. The lovable green-hooded Link is back in a brand new incarnation of Ocarina of Time. But while this world may seem familiar, something's just not quite right. As the title suggests, the game employs a novel mask-wielding system. There are 3 principal magic guises for players to adopt. Okay, bear with me. The Goron mask turns Link into one of the rock-eating creatures that was featured in Ocarina of Time. This enables him to smash his way through any landscapes or roll himself up into a tight-fisted snowball so he can zip through any one of the 10 massive environments, or even show off his more rhythmical talents by getting jiggy with a rather large pair of bongos in his spare time. Right, the Deku Scrub Mask. This will turn Link into one of the Deku dudes, giving him all the corresponding abilities, while the Zora Mask gets Link to delve deeper, dashing through the water, nifty as a newt. Majora's Mask should prove to be the perfect follow-up for Zelda diehards and an eye-opener for first-timers. It not only plucks you from that harsh reality of the everyday grind, popping you back into that sweet-smelling, womb-like familiarity in Ocarina of Time, but also twists your senses so you'll be looking over your shoulder more than just the once.